Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at NVDA, AMD, and Tesla. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. If you like these videos, go to my website, sign up, it's free, or click down here in the bottom right hand corner and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And guys, if you're looking for a new broker, check out CobraTrading.com. If you go online or if you give them a call, remember it's promo code StockBookie. If you're on talking to a real person over there, maybe Chad, the CEO, he will answer the phone every so often. Tell him StockBookie sent you. All right, guys, let's get into the daily chart and video. So we had 8.9 million on the day, a little bit down, 0.84% or $1.38 in the red. We did get back below the 20 MA, and we're closing right on top of this big trend line. We've been talking about this one. This is big, guys. Came up. Support, came up, support. Now it's kind of chopping. Let's see if we continue sideways. This is still slightly bearish inside this big green bar. We held the bottom, popped up, but we did not get above. I want to get above the, say, 170 area and continue up. Then I think we're going to get to the 52-week high at 174.56. So watch for that. And we got to stay above all the MAs. If it starts to drift, next area, 50 MA, which is going to be right 160.12, and if it continues down, you have a gap fill, and then the low pivot here right around 152.83. If it continues lower, we got a couple gaps to fill. Ultimately, the 618 and this little pivot low. You know, I like this area here right around the 136.92, but if it starts really to start coming in, I think we're definitely going here and probably gap window. I don't know if we'll go to gap fill. I mean, that will be pretty amazing if we end up back at 100. You'll get by the dips, and then you could ride this one up. Probably go from 100 to probably 150, guys. So be ready for that. If this thing falls, you know, gap windows maybe start nibbling, but we hit gap fill down in here, 100 even number, you have to be a buyer of this one. If it continues higher now, you're looking for a crack above the 174.56, and then 175, 180, 185, 190, 195, possibly 200. We're not too far away, but if the markets are weak, the overall markets, the SPY, the IWM, the Qs and the DIA and the IYT, if that all starts to become weak, these will be heading down without a problem, guys, especially the NASDAQ. NASDAQ might be getting creamed in the next months to come, so watch out for that. Again, made a new high, tried it again, so it's making higher lows too, so watch for that as well. But right now, let's see what it gives us next week. At this point, we're still setting up to go possibly higher. These patterns fail, we will be definitely going to the 200 MA at least on these stocks. So right now, really nothing to do. Let's see where this thing goes. If it stays above the 20, keeps going sideways, maybe for the next 7 to 8, maybe 10 days, then it's just chopping in a bullish manner for possible higher prices. And of course, if that pattern fails, we'll be looking for support areas as this one continues lower. So keep an eye on that one. This is a little extended. Let's go to the weekly. Friday's close. Friday, same thing. I think we're still a little bit extended from the 20 MA. I think we could come down. You know, I would like to see 142, 141, which comes in with this little pivot here on this green candle, but we're still inside this bar. We're still chopping around in a bullish manner, but then this downward action trying to go up and this inside bar bearish, so it's a 50-50 shot. Ultimately, guys, though, topping tail on the weekly. Until this one gets breached and confirms, this thing's still intact, telling me lower prices. So watch for that. AMD still a little bit weak, guys. You know, we talked about this little topping tail right into this old end. We've shorted this thing here, covered it down there, and I haven't done anything with this one. Retracing, remember, this big red bar never confirmed. Came right back in, tried to get above it again, never confirmed, straight down. So this is a big contender being in a bearish manner. This bar right there, guys. If it can't close and then close with some follow through on a weekly basis on AMD, then this is setting up now 2 weeks sideways. If it continues sideways, guys, it's setting up. And if this sets up on a bigger time frame or a weekly time frame, this could easily test the 986, the 945, and then come into this area around the 863 to 850 area easily if this starts setting up in a bearish manner and the markets start to pull back like we talked with NVIDIA. It will be a market trade, guys, so keep an eye on the SPY and all that stuff. The major indexes, those start pulling back, all these will follow as well, period. Let's go to the daily chart, a little bit smaller time frame. We'll see what this thing's going to do next week, but right now, down sideways, just like the IWM, kind of lagging, chopping around in the lower range of this pullback, underneath the 50 and the 20 MA. If it gets below the 200 and starts chopping, then you're looking for lower prices, definitely. If this bulls, you got to get back above these MAs and this pivot and retest this area up here around the 1350. If we could get above 1350, then we could possibly get higher prices. But as long as it stays below the MAs here and keeps chopping around, again, if the markets start pulling back, this will pull back, and when it does, I still think you get a good entry price on this around $10. But great trading vehicle, like I've always been saying. I mean, look at this: $3 up, $2 down, $2 up, dollar down, $2 up, $4 down, or 12, 13, 14, 15, 350 down. Great. I mean, these are 20% moves. Huge for a day trader. So this thing sets up, comes down here. I'll be going long right down in here too, guys. Maybe to 942, because you do have that lower pivot. We'll just have to see as it comes in, if it does, how it comes. If it comes straight down, then we're looking at this area. If it tends to come choppy, and then a straight down, then we're going to look at this gap fill right around 863 on the daily. But right now, guys, this one's setting up for lower prices. Let's see if it can stay below the 50 MA and the 20 MA and keep chopping. If it keeps doing that, it will set up for lower prices. I mean, you still have a gap fill here, 750, some support, but if the whole thing starts falling apart with the markets, we will be back down here in the $10 area, 9 to 950. And that'll be a pretty good area to start accumulating if you're looking at getting along for AMD. Short again, if it goes back to the 1555, maybe up to 16 area, there's another area around 1776, $17. So if it goes up, we'll see. I mean, it's going to go up without me. Right now, this is setting up for possible lower prices. So beware, AMD bulls. Again, I have no position. I don't care which way this one goes. Just be careful with this one, guys, especially if you're long and buying the dip. We might get one more dip on this one, and then just save something for just in case, guys. That's all I'm saying. And don't take huge positions. For me, no more than 10% of your total portfolio in any position, guys. So if you have a $100,000 account, you don't want to have no more than 10 grand in there, period. Even if a stock goes up on you, 30, 40%. I mean, if worst case scenario, it's only 4% of your total portfolio that you're going to lose. You're not going to get wiped out in one trade. So, all right, let's get into Tesla. So this one's been a fun one, guys. A little bit of a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. Nice earnings, pops up, chops around, kills the puts, gives them a little bit of love here, pops up, depletes them a little bit more. This is where you'd pull them off, pops up, chopping around again. As long as we stay inside these 3 bars, guys, if we get above this 371 area, then higher prices to come. If we stay chopping down in this area from these 3 big red bars, especially in the lower range, it came down here, made another pivot, came up, making higher lows, but then you're also making lower highs with this. So we can actually, let's put another trend line in here. So that's going to be big too. So if we continue up, this is where I want to see it start coming through right there. So if we get above the 360 area or this trend line there, then we'll retest the 369.32, and then of course the 52-week high, which is 386.99. Then you're looking at 400, guys, especially if it starts to march up. You are back below the 20 MA, but still in a bullish stance. Slightly weak. You're down sideways, stuck in this 3-bar range. So let's see what happens if we come down. If we break this area, then we're going to definitely go to the 200 MA, period. So 400 on the upside, 284 to the downside. We're pretty much right in the middle of this action, trying to fill this. This was an old gap. That was big resistance. Came right through it, went to the top here, couldn't hold on, came back in. This is a nice little retrace, though, to set up for lower prices. So keep an eye on Tesla, guys. Let's go to the weekly. We had the Friday close. And still holding the 20 MA, still looking okay. But look, this is that big red inside bar on the weekly as well. Gets above, right to the top. That's would have been your short right there. Came right back down, guys. But you got a lot of support, a lot of resistance. Let's see where this thing chops in the next week or so. Again, just like the other two, AMD and NVDA, if the markets are weak and tend to pull pull back and go to the downside, the SPY, the IWM, all those, this will continue lower. So watch out for that. It will be a market trade. So if you follow me on StockTwitch, you notice I punched that up. Hey, it depends on the market. Hashtag market trade. That's going to be the direction. So on the light volume markets, if the SPY and the IWM start to pull back, most likely stocks like this will start pulling back too. On an intraday basis, if the markets pull back for a week, you might get a pullback for a week on these. So just watch out. You're right in the middle. Unless this thing gets news or something, this is a news-driven stock. Then you're looking at getting above here bulls, then attacking the old all-time high, and then shooting for the 400. If the bears take over, you're looking to crack this, get through this low pivot. You got another low pivot down in here, but ultimately the 200 MA would be too close if it fell down into here. It would have to kiss it. Maybe go through it like it's been. A little bit of a follow through here, and it kind of stretches like a slingshot and then bounces right up. So watch for that. A lot of this stuff is pushing through, whether it's going up or down, where if you have a price target around 283 or 284, it usually goes maybe $5, $6, $7 more, shoots over the price, and then comes right back in. So just make sure when you go into these positions, slow and steady, set them, forget them, and then do what you have to do, guys. All right, so that's it with these three so far. They're not in bad shape if you're bullish, and it all really depends on the markets. If the markets pull back, these will fall. So watch for that. Bottom line, guys. All right, thanks for stopping by, watching my videos, guys. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget about CobraTrading.com. Check those guys out if you're looking for a new broker. And hope you had a great weekend. And we'll see what happens this week. We'll see if the volume picks up. That's what a couple things we're watching for. So let's check that out. Again, thanks for stopping by. God bless. See you on the charts.